Chosen one, I need you to stop for a moment and scan your spirit without moving a muscle. Do you feel that quiet, heavy tension resting deep in the center of your chest? That is the weight of being trapped at 97%. You are standing right at the edge of your breakthrough, holding a set of keys you've already tried countless times. You've wielded the prayer key. You've tried fasting. You've engaged in spiritual warfare, yet the floodgates remain closed, and exhaustion has taken root because you believe God is waiting for you to push harder. But what if I told you the door you are attempting to open was never meant to respond to strength? It responds to surrender. God positioned you here because there's one final 3% you haven't unlocked. There is one last act of obedience required. But understand this, it's not about doing more, it's about confronting the one thing you're terrified to face. Before I reveal this final key, listen carefully. Every second matters. By the end of this message, you won't just understand why you've been stuck. You will have a specific protocol to shift your spiritual frequency instantly. We'll expose the 3 gatekeepers that emerge in your final hour, and we will seal this teaching with an activation prayer that opens the floodgates completely. This is your spiritual briefing. Do not look away. Right now you are experiencing what I call the Moses complex. You've led yourself and others through the wilderness. You fought battles, endured lack, and maintained faith, while everyone else turned back to Egypt. And now you stand at the edge of your promised land, seeing milk and honey, but unable to touch it. The enemy whispers lies, suggesting you are disqualified, that a past mistake has barred you from your blessing. Silence that voice. You are not disqualified. You are being recalibrated. The frustration you feel comes from trying old keys on a new lock. The keys of effort, labor, and aggressive spiritual warfare got you to 97%. But they won't open the door to 100%. There is a paradox in Scripture, found in Hebrews 4:11, that says, "Let us labor therefore to enter into that rest." Labor to enter rest. Contradictory, yes, but profoundly true. We've been conditioned to labor for results, for growth, for outcomes. But God's instruction is different. The greatest work is not moving mountains, it's quieting your soul enough to enter His rest. You have mastered the labor of work, but not the labor of rest. And that is why the door remains locked. Here's the revelation that changes everything. The blockage is not in your spirit. The blockage is in your frequency. I want you to check your body right now. Even while praying or worshiping, is your heart racing? Is your mind running a to-do list? Is there a subtle hum of anxiety flowing through your veins? This is what I call the beta blockade. In neuroscience, beta waves signal high alert, stress, and survival mode. They are the waves of problem solving, of fighting, of striving. For the past season of your life, you've lived in beta. You had to. It was how you survived the attacks. But here's the issue. God does not speak in beta. God heals, restores, and downloads revelation in theta. Theta waves are the frequency of deep rest, vivid imagination, and divine connection. It's the state just before sleep, the flow state where intuition meets guidance. Here's the mismatch. You are crying out from a beta state full of stress and urgency, while God is sending the answer on a theta frequency of stillness and reception. You are tuned to channel 1, and God is answering on channel 2. That is why it feels like silence. It isn't silence. You're simply on the wrong frequency. The keys you've been using, fasting, long prayers, extended spiritual warfare, aren't working because they are executed in a beta state. You fast with anxiety. You pray with panic. That creates spiritual static, blocking the divine download. This is exactly what Psalm 46:10 speaks to when it says, "Be still and know that I am God." For generations, we've misunderstood this. Being still is not about sitting quietly. The Hebrew word rapha, used here, means to go limp, to let go, to release the burden. Imagine a soldier dropping his sword because the battle is over. God is saying, drop control, Let go of the need to figure it out. Release the beta intensity, because you cannot know that I am God while trying to be the God of your own situation. The one more obedience God is asking for is not action. It is a state of being. He wants you to move from beta waves of a warrior to theta waves of a son or daughter. I know what you're thinking. I want to be still. I want to release control, but I can't. Here's the truth. The world is designed to keep you in beta. Notifications, responsibilities, bills, cultural noise. They keep your brain locked in survival mode. Even when you try to be still, your body rebels. Trust feels unsafe. Peace feels foreign. You've been surviving for so long that the absence of stress triggers fear. So how do you shift channels instantly? How do you access the theta state where the floodgates open without spending decades in isolation or intense discipline? There is a way, a forgotten technology that bridges neuroscience and the Spirit of God, allowing you to enter this state in minutes, not years. It might be the very key you've overlooked. This technology is sound, specifically restoring your brain's original frequency. Picture your spirit as a musical instrument. Trauma and battles have left you out of tune. Right now, you're vibrating at the chaotic, high-stress pitch of the world. You're trying to perform the symphony of your destiny, but the instrument is misaligned. All that comes out is noise. You cannot force an instrument back into tune by straining, yelling, or trying harder. You need a reference, a tuning fork. Strike a tuning fork, and it emits a perfect, pure tone. Bring a guitar string close to it, and the string naturally vibrates in harmony with that tone, without any effort. That is the secret. You need a spiritual tuning fork to pull your brain from beta chaos into theta flow. This is where the genius wave comes in. It's not magic, it's biology confirming theology. NASA research confirms that this specific theta state is where intuition meets the divine, where the mind aligns with the Garden of Eden before the fall. Peaceful, receptive, fully connected to the Creator. For the chosen one who is exhausted, this is your tool of surrender. The Genius Wave is a digital audio track developed by neuroscientists using advanced brainwave entrainment. It guides your mind gently from beta stress into deep theta reception. And here's the best part. It only takes 7 minutes a day. No complicated meditation techniques, no constant battle with wandering thoughts. You put on headphones, listen, and let the sound do the work. The tuning fork carries your spirit into alignment effortlessly. Some of you may hesitate, thinking, is this cheating? Is this a shortcut? Romans 12:2 addresses this. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. God never limited transformation to suffering or struggle alone. Sometimes the one more obedience God asks for is humility, the humility to use a tool, to admit, Lord, my mind is too loud. I need help to quiet it. I've placed a link to this research in the pinned comment. If your spirit resonates, if you're ready to stop striving and start receiving, investigate it. 7 minutes might save you 7 years of delay. But hold on, don't move yet. Even with this tool, even if your frequency shifts, there is still one massive invisible anchor holding you back. You say you want the floodgates open. You say you want the blessing. But deep in the shadow of your soul, you are afraid. Why do you hesitate? Why does your stomach knot at the thought of everything actually working out? The answer is simple. You are addicted to the battle. For so long, your identity has been tied to surviving, to fighting, to enduring pain. The wilderness became comfortable because you knew its rules. But peace feels unfamiliar, even threatening. You've identified yourself as the warrior. You know how to swing the sword. You know how to navigate storms. But who are you without it? This fear is what keeps you at 97%. You fear losing your identity. You fear that if peace arrives, you will disappear. You believe that if you're not suffering, you're not valuable. You've been, parroting from a victim mindset disguised as a warrior. But God is calling you into a ruler identity. A victim fights for survival. A ruler speaks for expansion. You cannot enter the promised land with a wilderness mentality. You must upgrade your identity. You must declare, I am not just a survivor of the storm, I am the calmer of the storm. As this shift occurs, as you step into rest and embrace your higher identity, the enemy will notice. He will recognize that you are on the verge of crossing the 3% gap, and he will deploy 3 specific gatekeepers to stop you. I am telling you this now so you are prepared. The first gatekeeper is distraction. In the coming days, an opportunity will appear, perhaps a job, a relationship, or a financial shortcut. It will feel urgent, tempting, and worthwhile, but it will pull you away from your quiet time. Busy, yes, but unfruitful. Do not take the bait. If it steals your peace, it is not from God. The second gatekeeper is offense. Someone near or far will trigger your old warrior identity with disrespect, criticism, or irritation. Their goal is to pull you back into beta, to make you fight, to derail your frequency. Do not engage. Your silence is your weapon. The third gatekeeper is doubt. It will arrive quietly, often in the still hours of the night. Did God really say that? Are you truly chosen? Look at your life. It hasn't changed. This is the enemy's oldest trick, questioning what he fears most, your belief. Your strategy for all 3 gatekeepers is non-reaction. Stand still, hold your frequency. Let them pass without disturbance. Let me tell you about Michael. That's not his real name, but he is a chosen one just like you. Michael spent 5 long years stuck at 97%. He worked 16-hour days, grinding, hustling, praying desperate prayers. He stayed in beta survival mode, forcing the door open, trying to push with strength. His health declined, his marriage faltered. He was on the verge of giving up entirely. Then one day he heard a message like this. 1. He realized the door wasn't held by God, it was held by his own striving. Michael made a radical choice. He stopped. He surrendered his need to control the outcome. He began using the sound frequency tool to calm his mind. He reduced overwork. He embraced trust. At first, it was terrifying. For a week, silence felt like irresponsibility. For the first time, he wasn't actively managing every outcome. But he maintained his frequency. He stayed in theta, even when fear wanted to pull him back into beta. And then, something miraculous happened. On day 40, he received a phone call. A contract he had pitched 2 years earlier, considered dead and buried, suddenly revived. Not only that, they wanted to double the original offer. In that single moment, 5 years of loss were restored. The blessings chased him down precisely when he stopped running, when he ceased striving. The door opened not because of effort, but because of surrender, alignment, and trust. Michael's breakthrough demonstrates the principle. It is never the force that opens the final 3%. It is the state of your mind, your identity, and your frequency. The floodgates respond to theta, to rest, to alignment, not to the struggle of beta. Now it is your turn. Right here, right now, you are called to activate. Begin by adjusting your posture. If you are driving, sit up straighter. If you are lying down, visualize yourself standing tall in the spiritual realm, fully armored, right before a massive set of golden gates. These gates are ancient, towering, and sealed. But notice, you are not pushing. You are standing still, waiting, receiving. Take a deep breath in and exhale slowly. Anchor yourself in the moment. You are about to step into a divine state of surrender and alignment. Father, in this Kairos moment, we acknowledge our attempts to force outcomes in our own strength, and we release them. We lay down striving, control, and the addiction to beta intensity. I decree that the frequency of our minds is being realigned right now. I command the storms of anxiety and restless thoughts to be silenced. Peace. Be still. I seal the theta frequency of the garden over every mind listening to this message. You now possess the mind of Christ, a mind at rest, attuned to the Father's whisper, operating in divine wisdom and insight. I break every agreement made with the spirit of delay. I bind the three gatekeepers: distraction, offense, and doubt. They hold no authority over you. You are not a victim. You are a ruler. You are a son, a daughter, a chosen one. To the floodgates of your destiny I speak. Open, not by might, not by power, but by the Spirit of the Lord. The 3% gap is closed. The struggle is over. The striving is finished. Receiving has begun. You are stepping into the fullness prepared for you, no longer delayed by past habits or old identities. Now, I want you to ask yourself a question, and the universe is listening. Are you ready to walk through? Declare it aloud if you can, or shout it in your spirit. Say, "Yes, I am ready. I receive it." Let that declaration echo throughout the spiritual realm. Your surrender has activated the divine alignment. You are no longer waiting. The gates are responding. The blessings, long delayed, are moving to meet you. The final 3% is yours to enter. As you step forward, understand this: the enemy will continue to test, tempt, and try to pull you back to old patterns. But now you have learned the principle of alignment over effort. The keys of strength no longer apply because the door responds to surrender. You've shifted from the beta state of striving to the theta state of rest. You've upgraded from the warrior mindset to the ruler identity. And you've activated the spiritual tuning fork that harmonizes your frequency with heaven. Visualize yourself standing fully in that space of rest. The gates before you are golden, ancient, unmovable by force. But notice something. You are no longer pushing. Your presence alone, aligned with divine frequency, causes the mechanisms of heaven to respond. Your posture, your breath, your focus, your surrender. These are now the keys. Feel the heaviness in your chest lift. Sense the tension dissolve. Every worry, every anxious thought, every frantic plan that once kept you stuck is released. You are vibrating in harmony with what God has prepared, and the doors of destiny begin to swing open. As you settle into this state, understand the next layer of your breakthrough. The enemy will attempt subtle interference. Distraction will present itself disguised as opportunity, but it will feel urgent, tempting, even logical. Your response is stillness. Offense may arise, a word, a look, an unexpected criticism meant to trigger your old identity. Your response is non-reaction. Doubt will whisper in the silence of the night, questioning your calling, your worth, and your timing. The strategy remains the same. Stand still, hold your frequency, Allow the gatekeepers to pass without impact. Your alignment cannot be shaken by external chaos. You are moving beyond the survival mentality. You are stepping fully into a ruler identity, where peace, confidence, and divine authority define you. You are no longer dependent on circumstances, validation, or effort to secure your blessing. Your identity is rooted in the state of rest, in your alignment with God's design, and in the surrender that allows heaven to move. You are no longer the person who struggles to survive. You are the one who commands expansion, who channels divine frequency effortlessly, who receives rather than chases. Understand this now. The final 3% is a spiritual activation, not a physical achievement. The labor is complete. The work you thought you had to do has been accomplished through obedience to surrender, through the shift of your mind and frequency. Heaven responds to alignment, not action. The gates of destiny do not open to the striving, they open to the surrendered. This is your moment, chosen one, to step fully into the space you have been prepared for. Now, take a moment to internalize what this means for your daily life. Your world will attempt to pull you back into old patterns: stress, overwork, mental noise, and constant striving. These are the tools of the wilderness, the familiar keys that got you to 97%, but no further. Every notification, every demand, every crisis is a test to see if you will revert to beta. You must recognize them for what they are. Gatekeepers in disguise. Your power lies in maintaining your state of rest, your theta frequency, regardless of external circumstances. You do not respond with effort, anger, or anxiety. You respond with calm, with surrender, and with confidence that the floodgates are already opening. As you integrate this, remember your spiritual identity upgrade. You are no longer defined by Sir Vival. You are defined by authority, by alignment, by rest. You are not a victim reacting to life. You are a ruler commanding expansion and reception. You are attuned to divine timing. Your mind is aligned with heaven, your heart is still, and your soul is ready to receive. This is how the final 3% is unlocked, not by pushing harder, but by holding your frequency, embracing surrender, and allowing the unseen forces of heaven to activate your destiny. The lessons of the wilderness, the trials and the struggles were necessary to prepare you for this moment. But now, they are complete. The hard labor is done. What remains is your choice to step fully into the rest that God has orchestrated for you. You no longer need to fight the door open. You no longer need to prove your worth. You only need to stand, breathe, and align with the frequency of heaven. The gates will respond, the blessings will move, the divine timing will synchronize perfectly with your surrender. You are entering a new season, one where struggle is no longer your identity, where peace is not optional, and where your spiritual frequency determines the flow of destiny. This is the power of theta, the power of surrender, the power of becoming fully who God created you to be. You are at the threshold. You are ready. The final 3% is within reach, and every step forward from here is effortless because you have aligned your mind, body, and spirit with the divine. Now let's address the invisible forces that try to hold you back one last time. Even as your frequency shifts and you settle into the state of rest, subtle fears will arise, old patterns disguised as wisdom, caution, or realism. You may feel hesitation when imagining your full blessing. That hesitation is not a flaw. It is the final test. You are being asked to release the identity of the warrior completely and fully embrace the ruler. The warrior fights to survive. The ruler commands life to expand. If you cling to the past, if you secretly hold on to struggle as your measure of value, the door will remain partially closed. But if you release it, if you fully trust the frequency of rest, the gates respond instantly. As you stand at this threshold, the 3 gatekeepers we discussed will continue to present themselves. You are ready for them. Distraction will appear in enticing forms, offense will attempt to provoke, and doubt will whisper in the stillness. Your strategy is steadfast, non-reaction. Stand still. Hold your frequency. Allow them to pass without impact. When you remain unmoved, when you refuse to respond to the old patterns of beta, heaven's response is immediate. Alignment attracts blessings. Rest activates provision. Surrender opens doors. The floodgates do not move for effort. They move for presence, identity, and frequency. Remember Michael's story. He was stuck for years trying to force what was already prepared for him. The moment he surrendered, the moment he allowed his mind to settle into theta, the blessing came. Years of delay were restored in an instant. That same principle applies to you. The final 3% is unlocked not through struggle, but through surrender, alignment, and the conscious decision to hold your state of rest, even in the face of external pressures. This is your moment to step fully into the space of reception, where the divine meets your readiness. Now, chosen one, this is the moment of activation. Visualize yourself standing tall before the golden gates, fully aligned in theta, fully surrendered, fully resting. You are no longer pushing. You are no longer striving. You are present. Take a deep breath and feel the shift within you, the tension dissolving, the heaviness lifting, the floodgates of destiny responding to your alignment. Declare aloud, or in your spirit, yes, I am ready. I receive it. Let that declaration resonate across the spiritual realm. The struggle is over. The striving is finished. The receiving has begun. Know this, you are stepping into a ruler identity. Victimhood is behind you. The wilderness mindset is behind you. You are now defined by peace, rest, and divine authority. Your frequency is harmonized with heaven. You are tuned to receive revelation, provision, and blessing in alignment with God's will. The gatekeepers of distraction, offense, and doubt have no authority over you. They pass by while you remain still, unwavering, and anchored in your identity. The 3% gap has closed. The final threshold has been crossed. The floodgates open, not by effort, but by surrender and alignment. As you move forward, carry this truth with you. The power is in your state, not your struggle. The door responds to your frequency, your rest, your identity, and your trust. You are no longer waiting. You are walking fully into the promises prepared for you. Every step is guided, every blessing aligned, every manifestation flowing naturally because you have chosen surrender over striving, alignment over labor, and rest over stress. This is your season, your moment, your divine inheritance. Walk through with confidence.